film didn't start out as a straight comedy, but you have kind of an odd hybrid of genres here with the fantasy and action adventure elements.
That's the hope, is that we have something for everybody. You know, I think for people going to look for a good love story, they got that. For people that want a good adventure story, they got that. People want a few laughs, they got that. And, you know, if you gross out gags, puppets, and naked chicks, what more do you want?
Exactly. Why did you decide to go kind of a sweet homage to those kind of films and not all-out comedy?
You know what? I like a movie that knows where to put the laughs, and I say that I like a lot of different movies, but the ones that stick with me the most are a movie like The Blues Brothers, for example, that has its tongue a little in its cheek, but it's set back and it's not going for cheap jokes. It's not going for just broad gags and physical comedy. It's a movie that has subtleties, and it's a movie like another movie like that is like The Big Lebowski. It's a movie I can watch time and time again and notice the little nuances and the subtleties of performance that become funnier the more times you see it. And I think rather than going for the easy way out, I wanted to go with the more complicated, the more sophisticated way. So as absurd as this movie seems, I promise you there are layers of intellect, you know, layers and layers of intellect behind it.
Danny McBride as a hero is kind of absurd in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And he's an actor I've worked with for a number of years. I went to film school with Danny, and so we've kind of grown up together, and certainly have taken big leaps in the film industry together. And so we push each other to try to challenge each other, to try to challenge what a studio is going to let us get away with, and we have a lot of fun working together, and we make each other laugh. So it's something that we want to bring our brand of humor to an audience, and it's really rewarding to you know, have a right-hand man giving a high five at the end of the day.
They gave you a much larger canvas to work with this time.
It was a tricky movie to make because they did give us the budget of a comedy, and they said if you can make a movie on this for this amount of money on this number of days, then you can do what you want. We'll leave you alone. And so that was a really exciting prospect until we realized how big we wanted to make it, how many creatures we wanted to make, how magnificent I wanted the action set pieces to be. So we got really, really ambitious within those limitations, within those financial constraints. We really tried to push the envelope. And I come from a background of independent film and really called upon a lot of those tricks to finish this film. A lot of those relationships that you need to nurture and a lot of those favors you need to ask for still come into play while you're trying to make the movie look like it cost 3 times what it did.
Right. Well, as a director, when you're dealing with, you know, monsters and dragons and things like that, it becomes a lot more complicated, I'm sure. And for someone who hasn't really directed that kind of sequence before, how much of a challenge was it for you? I
look at every movie as an excuse to surround myself with really smart and fun people, and this movie was an education. I had to work with visual effects and really try to understand how the post-production process would work with the balance of the concept that you came up with originally when you're writing and developing the movie versus what's going to end up being on screen, and how all that works and all the elements that are required for everyone to do their job. So it is really logistic heavy, but again, it's all part of the process. It's slow sometimes, but it's also limitless in where your imagination can take you.
Right. Well, I have a decent knowledge of mythology, but I think this is the first time we've seen a Minotaur hard-on on screen, isn't it?
I think it may be. We wanted to push the envelope and give the crowd something that they'd never seen before, and I think this might actually be the first erection shown in a major studio Hollywood movie.
Talk about the spoils of war. That's some kind of trophy.
Yeah. Well, and that was another thing that to be able to, like, a lot of those elements they play comedically in a way, but they're all planted in seriousness and in fear and anxiety and things that we were trying to make them work toward a greater narrative and a greater ambition. So it's a lot of fun for me as the director to watch a crowd take those gasps and ahs and laughs, and really it becomes a very interactive film between the audience and what's up on screen.